tired of feeling tired? Done with diet culture? Overwhelmed by conflicting nutrition and fitness messages? Then join us, your hosts of the Nutrition Revolution podcast, as we take a deep dive into all things women's fitness and nutrition. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Tabitha. And together we are debunking diet culture myths and giving you the tools you need to finally see the results you're looking for. It's time to revolutionize your nutrition and training.
Welcome back to the Nutrition Revolution podcast. We are excited to have a guest. Today we have Nicole Palmer. Hey, Nicole.
Hi, guys.
Hello, welcome.
So I met Nicole through Nicole J Boutique in Middletown, which helped me actually care about how I looked. My fashion was thriving in that era, and now it's tanking. But we met and connected. We actually have a mutual friend, and so we connected, and I have had the pleasure of getting to watch you grow in your business and watching how you have really taken some major steps and done some crazy things that most women would not do. And it's been awesome to watch. So I wanted to have you on just kind of to talk about, I think a lot of women in, entrepreneurs, but just business in general, struggle with like the mental load of being a mom. Even if you don't have children, being a woman is in itself a mental load.
A challenge.
And sometimes we get into situations or like start a business or how we have these great ideas of like, oh, I want to do this thing. And I know for me, like there's been times in my life where I'm like, oh, I should do this, like start a podcast, right? Mm-hmm. Like if I didn't have Tabitha being like, let's do it, I probably wouldn't have done it on my own, right? So it was having that community that helped. And then, but I feel like we have these ideas, we want to go do stuff or we want to like, challenge ourselves, but we get in our own head or we get like nervous about like, oh, I can't do that because I already have one Instagram page. So like I can't have another Instagram page because like then people think I'm a scatterbrain or whatever. Yeah. Like in my brain, that's how it is. But it's been awesome watching you kind of, for me, like break that barrier of like, you can do whatever you want. Like, yeah. And so I feel like women don't necessarily feel like we have that, but
so you don't struggle with imposter syndrome, do you, Nicole?
Not at all.
I love it.
No, well, it was funny when you said the multiple Instagram accounts. I'm like, we could go there for a second, because I have a lot of Instagram accounts, but only because I'm not afraid to try things and see if it's something that I enjoy or not. But no imposter syndrome for the most part. I mean, of course it creeps in, but
tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Long story short, right? I had a boutique, like Kimberly said, in Middletown. I started my business at 21 years old. So I graduated high school. I knew I wanted to study fashion. I had been sewing all of my homecoming dresses, my prom dresses and things.
So cool.
Yeah. My grandmother taught me to sew in middle school. So it was just, it clicked and I knew fashion. So I moved to New York City a month after graduating high school and studied fashion design in the city.
I love it.
Yeah. And so like fashion was just kind of it from a young age. Which is crazy because at the same time I was also racing motocross.
That's so funny.
You're like, it's a balance. Yeah, it was a great balance. It was a great balance. But so it was kind of, I guess, surprising in a way that I was going towards fashion. But
you're really cool.
I know, right? See, everybody wants to be a friend, and now you're a celebrity.
Oh my goodness. So I knew fashion was like the route I wanted to take early on. So I lived in New York City. I interned and worked like crazy while I was there. So you think New York, it's like party, go have fun. I did have fun, don't get me wrong, but I was there to learn. So I interned with companies like Fendi on Fifth Avenue, Tommy Hilfiger's design team. I worked New York Fashion Week for about 10 seasons.
Oh my gosh, I'm fangirling right now.
It was incredible. It was so much fun. But I was also in a long distance relationship. So my boyfriend at the time lived in Delaware still. So when I graduated, I always say that I wanted to bring fashion back to my small town. Really, I was moving home for a boy.
Yeah.
Which I can say now. I like eventually told my parents, I was like, I mean, why I moved home, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, we know.
But okay, so did it work out? Is this boy your husband?
He's not.
He's not.
Yeah. So, okay. And I'll try to keep it short, Tabitha. But so I moved back home, but I started my business when I moved home. So I was 21 years old and I was designing dresses for some local high school girls for their proms and homecomings and things. we got engaged actually when I moved home, and shortly after found out I was going to be a mom. So 21, just moved back to Delaware, engaged, starting a business, gonna be a mom. So the next year was kind of a whirlwind. I had, a lot of people suggesting I kind of give up on the dream and get a real job. And I just knew that was not for me. Like I always say, I couldn't look my daughter in the eye and tell her to follow her dream one day if I had just given up on mine.
Love that.
So not to say it was easy, right?
Sure, yeah.
But I knew I had to go after that dream. So I found out I was pregnant with Elle. We got engaged, found out I was pregnant in December, got married in April, and had her the following September. So within a year. Yeah.
So you did get married to...
I did. Yep.
Okay. So you got married.
Got married. It's kind of fun that you don't know my story, Tabitha. It's
I know,
exciting. I love this.
I am on the edge of my seat.
I'm here for it.
Carry on.
It makes it a little bit more exciting because I feel like I've told it over and over again. Yeah. So let's see. So during that time, I was still designing and doing my best to keep the business kind of just going, using social media to spread the word, that kind of thing. I actually launched my online boutique on my daughter's first birthday. So another year later, when I was in New York, I worked for a buying office. So I learned how to source for inventory and buy and sell and blah, blah, blah. So I launched the online boutique on her first birthday. Shortly after, we sold out of absolutely everything on that launch day. Like it was insane. I can still remember sitting there with her like, oh, what is happening? Okay, we can do this, So shortly after, I opened my first retail location, and just things kind of took off from there. The community was amazing.
And this retail location, was it all like your designs?
No.
Or did you,
Good question.
Okay, you were a buyer?
Yep. So at this point, I was like, okay, I have to get serious about making money for my family.
Sure.
My husband at the time was also working, but we needed to figure things out. So designing takes a little bit longer. Buying inventory at wholesale, selling at retail, I could do a quicker turnaround.
Yeah.
So at this point, when I opened the store, it was already made items that I was just kind of handpicking to sell. So I had that location for a few years.
But you can still have a lot of creative liberties and freedom.
She's totally together the
Totally.
outfit.
Gosh, yeah.
I was really honed in on what my customer needed.
Yeah.
Then Kimberly can tell you, I was all about comfort, but feeling cute, feeling good. But majority of my clients were moms, so we wanted to be cute but comfortable.
Right. And you would also do lives where you would put together the outfits and show what it looked like on a real human.
Mm-hmm.
And
love that.
to say all right, I sized up in this, and that's what drew me to you, because I'm you did such a good job at because with someone with body dysmorphia, in my brain, I'm but that looks cute on her, but that wouldn't look cute on me. But you did such a good job of being these jeans are cute, but they're really tight and they don't have any give. And so size up. And I was like, you're allowed to do that? You can size up and it's okay. And you just told the world that you're doing that?
I love that, Kimberly. I've really never thought of it from that angle, but that's what I was doing. I had these little live shows, and I would try things on in real time. I mean, not strip on the camera, but I'd go back and forth, but I'd be in the fitting room yelling out to the camera. But I'd come on and be it's a little tight in the arms, guys. So maybe go up, or this one runs loose here, go down.
Love it.
But I never thought of it from that perspective. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, those live shows became a weekly thing. It was, I kind of trained customers to know I'm going to be live on Thursdays. What I'm showing goes online at 8:00. It'll be in store the next day. It was just this well-oiled machine over a while. It was crazy. I did the lives. And what happened on those lives is that's really where I started building relationships with people, because they'd watch the live, but then they'd come in the store and you already feel like you know me because we're kind of chatting, I'm reading through the comments and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. But during that time, my first retail location, my marriage started going south. And without going too much into it, he just took a path that was not healthy, and it just became a really toxic marriage, honestly. And I knew I had to get out of it. But divorce was very foreign to me. My parents have been together since they were 12. So that was not a world that I was familiar with, but I just knew I needed to get out. And when I made the decision to leave, I found out I was pregnant with my son. So then I had a whole other moment of, okay, do I stay? Do I go? What do I do? And I knew we had to get out. So we did. We moved back in with my parents. So I was a single mom with a toddler, pregnant with my second, trying to build this business. It was pure chaos, to say the least. But I just kind of kicked into survival mode. And I feel like from 21 up until, little spoiler alert, but up until I closed the business, I was just in pure survival mode, just mom trying to build a business. So fast forward a little bit, we separated. I had my son, who I call my Prince Charming. Like I love my daughter and I have like a really special, we're like besties, but my son's like my baby.
Yeah.
You know? So had Jace, and shortly after Jace was born, I was going through a really awful custody battle. Like it was just something I wouldn't wish on anybody. It was really, really hard. But shortly after Jace was born, he was like 3 months old, I reconnected with my now husband. So yes, so he is one of my brother's really good friends from high school.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Scandalous.
Is this an older brother or younger
Older
brother?
brother.
Ooh, I love it even more.
Yeah. Yep. So
did you have a crush on him when you were younger?
Totally.
Oh my
totally.
God, I love it.
I had even told my mom at one point that I was going to marry him.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
like,
What's the age difference?
so we are about 5 years apart.
Oh, so he would like
not
come over to your house and you would just like pine for him?
Totally.
Yes, I love it.
Always just like
Tabitha is sitting, like she is like watching a soap
I'm
opera.
on the
Like
edge of my seat. I just need a Coke Zero and some popcorn.
it's kind of exciting because I haven't really gone back and told all of this in a while.
Yeah.
So and I know you know most of it. So it's like, I don't know.
Kimberly does most of it. Yeah, that's
yeah, Kimberly. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It just was so real in the time when I was sharing it, because I would share these updates like on my Facebook Live. Like people knew what I was going through to an extent, of course.
Right. Sure, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But like when I was splitting from
I
my
was
ex,
thinking
like,
about like the heartache and the hormones of pregnancy, and then you got a toddler and you don't know the ending, right? So there's so many unknowns. So you're sitting here telling me this story, having like the hindsight of 2020, the hindsight of 2020, right?
Yeah,
hindsight is 2020. That's what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
right? But like I'm sitting here thinking like, wow, when she's going through it and she doesn't have that hindsight, that's 2020. And you're thinking like, am I going to ever have a partner? And like, what is this going to look like? Am I going to be living with mom and dad? Am I going to be a single mom? How am I going to provide for these children? And then you're dealing with this terrible custody battle. Like, oh
You're gonna make me cry.
my goodness. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not trying to get you emotional, but like, wow, how did you do it? Get up every day. I mean, you're a strong woman. Like,
thank you.
You just did what you had to do, right?
Yeah.
Like you didn't have a choice.
There was no other option for me.
there was no other option. And that's what's so amazing about women. Yeah, we're the best. If we ruled the world,
And that's a whole other podcast, right?
that's a whole other episode. But
Yeah, it's true. And now looking back, like I just want to hug that version of me so badly. Like but I also at that time, you know, for me it's weird because it feels like a long time ago. You know, my daughter's 14 now. It's been 4 years since I closed the shop, which is crazy. But like it feels like yesterday in a sense, you know. But if I could go back and just like hug her, but that version of me, I just knew I would be okay. Like I knew we would be okay, and I didn't have a relationship with God at that point, which is wild. But I just always knew that
It's like something inside you. That felt
like it was just I just had this crazy strength that I can't explain.
I can just see you're a very positive person. Like this is so for our listeners, this is the first time that I've met Nicole, and like you can just see like when you walked in to my home and first meeting you. So also for our listeners, we record at my house. You know, you have a glow about you.
Oh, thank you.
You know, like a positive light. So you're just a positive person.
Thank you. I like meeting people. It's you know, I like hearing other stories, and there's something powerful about being in person too, right? Like we live in this world where everything is online.
I know. It's the one downside to online coaching that I like. I love that I can help anyone from anywhere, but I do miss that in-person connection.
Yeah. And I think that was the beauty of the lives that I did. It was like I didn't have the filter. Like I wasn't trying to be this perfect version of myself. It was just I am who I am, guys, you know? So it was an opportunity for people to really get to know me, but also I think it made them feel more comfortable having conversations like this when they came into the store, because I want to get to know you. I don't want you to just be a sale in the shop.
And it made it exciting too, because you would do the lives, but then there were like which I never went to any of them, but like the happy hour things, or like
oh, so that's interesting.
Black Friday people lined up around the building to come like shop.
And you know why I hosted those? So it was called Style Saturday. So once a month I would host a Style Saturday and I would hype it up, like new arrivals. Sometimes we'd have a special or a giveaway, but they always fell on the weekend that my kids were with their bio dad. So it was a distraction. Yep. And what I was actually doing most of the time, so I had severe anxiety, and so I would have panic attacks in the shop, and like Kimberly said, people would line up. I mean, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
They would be out with coffee waiting, and we'd count down to
bring
the
their
door
girlfriends.
open. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. But I would be like, I'd have to go, and my staff knew, like, if Nikki needs a minute, she'll be in the back, just give her a minute. I would have a panic attack in the bathroom. I'd just be in the back like, okay, because I'm worried about the kids. Are the kids okay? What are they doing? Are they, they're little at that time. But work just kind of became my distraction. So when I had those, so those always fell on the weekends when I was sharing. It was
a way for you to cope,
but
but also to build your brand and your business.
Yeah.
So okay. All right. So back to you fell in love with your brother's bestie. Okay. I'm here for it.
Listen to this.
Oh my
laugh so hard.
gosh, I love it.
Yeah,
I'm like here for it. It's like, I don't know. It should be like this could be like a Lucy Score novel. I love it. Spice it up. We'll have to keep it PG for the podcast, but
I mean, you never know. No, Jace was about 3 months old. Ellie was like 3 or 4.
When you and the brothers bestie.
Matt. We call him MP. So my brother's name is Matt as well. So when the kids were little, it was so we call him MP. Okay. Matt Palmer, MP for short. But Jace was about 3 months. Ellie was like 3 or 4. So Matt has a son as well. So Shane, my stepson now. So we had both been in previous relationships. He never married, but we were both kind of living that world of shared kids and all of that. So we started dating. Jace was born.
And was your brother supportive?
Yeah, I think.
Or was it like weird?
It's still like funny, like we still joke about it. Like I married my brother's best friend, or
because I mean, so listeners, if you have your children in the car, maybe just like pause it for a second. Okay, but like, because I think about it, and like I know, like I talk about things, adult things, with my girlfriends, right? And so like. And even like my sisters or whatever. So
I know, I hear you.
Like if your brother would talk about those things with his brother, with his friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, but wait, I don't want to talk about it because like that's my sister. Right?
Yeah.
So,
Probably not now.
So I guess they're not having that conversation. Yeah. Sorry, bro.
Well, it's funny because, we are not all angels in high school and going into college, right? But like, because he already knew my past and I already knew his past, like he was not an angel by any means. Yeah, it was like
Facts,
we just kind of like picked up right there, And obviously we've both changed so much.
You both
can
know about your hoeing it up days.
Yeah, totally. Like, yes,
about all the bad decisions.
Yep, I know them all. Like, and maybe even more than
it might have actually helped. Like I know you, but I still like you.
I still like you.
You're
like I'll take all your faults. And there were many, and vice versa, right? Like I'm like, you want to date me? I was breastfeeding, guys. Like when we first started dating, one of our first sleepovers, I was literally like, TMI.
Spraying him with milk.
This is a women's podcast. Yeah, literally. And I woke up, I'm like, are you sure you want to be here? Like, what is happening? And he did. He stuck by me. So we had a rocky start to our relationship because we were trying to navigate like kids and all of it.
Figuring out
you're
like
still
postpartum, and you're young,
literally postpartum,
literally.
Yeah. So we were dating for about, I guess, a year or two, off and on kind of. But then we just both hit a point where we were like, we know what we want each other, and we want to make this work. So we rented a townhouse together, and we've been together ever since. That was 2015, I guess.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, we got married a few years later. So he's been with me through it all, and I just am so grateful for it because especially in the beginning, I'm like, are you sure you want to deal with all this?
Okay, but I mean, he came with some baggage too.
Absolutely.
So let's not,
totally.
act
and
like you know,
It's all women.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think that's why we worked well, is because
Yeah.
like I understand what you're going through. You understand to a point what I'm going through. And like we were there for each other, you know, which is so weird. Like it's such a unique situation.
Timing is
but
everything.
Timing is everything. And timing was everything for us. Like there's just no doubt in my mind that he's my person. So
That's
Oh
awesome.
my gosh, I love him and you, and I love your story. All right, so you found your one. So okay, so you're building your business. You
Yep.
have your, what did you call them? Saturdays? What kind of
Style Saturdays.
Style
Yep,
Saturdays.
Style Saturdays.
Love that. You're still doing your lives.
Yep. So we outgrew the first retail space. That was like 900 square foot in Middletown. And then I expanded into a second space. So we closed the first one.
You closed the first one. Okay. So you went to a bigger space.
Exactly. And that was like 2,200 square foot.
Oh,
so it was like
wow.
a big jump.
Yeah.
My staff was growing. I mean, business was booming. And I was still utilizing social media as like a connection tool to just
Yeah,
stay
you
in
have
touch with my
to.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to business, like for me, it's really important when I'm working with business owners is like, we have to give people a reason to come to you. You know, I still am very much old fashioned. Like I love the mom and pop style of business, but I was giving people a reason to come into my store, not just waiting for them to walk by and come in, you know?
Love that.
So yeah, business kind of exploded. Fast forward, we opened up a warehouse right down the street. So I had my online business running out of that. We had the retail location. I think I had a staff of about 15 prior to COVID.
Wow.
And then, you know, speed up COVID hits.
Yeah.
So during COVID, we had the 3 kids, virtual learning. I had my fitting rooms set up for classrooms. It was chaos. Doors were forced closed for a little while. My husband was a paramedic at the time. So we just were really hit at like all angles, it felt like. But because I had my website going and the lives, we were really able to thrive during that time with
Mystery
business.
bags.
Yeah, I had style bags going. I was like anything. I started a membership at one point, like anything I could to keep
You're so
revenue coming into
creative.
the business. Thank you.
Yeah, you're really
it's like
creative.
pure survival.
So
what I'm
intelligent.
realizing now, like it was just I had to keep going. I had to figure out how
Well,
to keep this business
improvise,
going.
adapt, overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have a choice too. But yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Yep. So COVID, fast forward, things were we were opening again. And I just, like a lot of people, my priorities were just shifting. And because I became a one-woman show again, I had to furlough most of my employees and I was by myself with the kids. Like, I mean, I was hustling. Like it was, but to keep the business alive, you know, rent didn't go down any during COVID and overhead.
I think that COVID did make a lot of people have kind of reevaluate important things in their lives.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened for me. And I was, for the first time ever, I was just considering closing. I'm like, I mean, I imagine my daughter working at the store, maybe taking it over one day if she wanted to. She's very much a tomboy. And that was clear early on that she was not going to be interested in that. But, you know, it's like, that's when you're starting a business, you dream of those things. Like you don't think about closing it. And it was the first time I was like, like, what could life be like if I were to slow down for a minute? Like, I have been full steam ahead, raising babies on my own for a little while, building this business. I don't know, slow.
And where were you, like, mentally, emotionally? Like, where, like, talk to us about that in whatever capacity you're comfortable discussing.
Yeah, I feel like at that point, I was exhausted. I was burnt out. I feel like I hit a wall at that point. And I think because of COVID and the force to stop and slow down is why I hit that wall. It was the first time where I was like, whoa, okay, hold on a minute. The train's not full steam right now. Like, you know, and I was burnt out and I didn't realize it. Like I was just so go, go, go. And I'm a very goal oriented person. So there's always something I was striving for. But for the first time, really ever in my life. I mean, you know, I had my daughter at 21. So like from then on, it was just build, build, build. So for the first time, I was like, I had time to pause and sort of reevaluate, like, is this actually what I want to be doing? Like, I don't know. And, you know, so I kind of went through this identity struggle because like Kimberly said, people know me as Nicole J, like Nicole J Boutique, you know, I'm like, I don't know that I want to be Nicole J anymore. Like, I don't know that this is actually what I want to continue doing. And what I realized in that moment was like, I don't owe anybody an explanation. If I decide I want to close, like, that's okay. You know, so that's kind of where I was in that moment. Yeah, exhausted.
Yeah. I think that having that like space to actually be quiet and be still and like now COVID, it was forced, you know,
Yeah.
like, but we don't take time to just like reevaluate what's going on or just like stop and like give ourselves a minute to just like process everything that is swirling around us.
Yeah.
And
or
so
even to give ourselves permission to say, do I want to still be this version of myself? And is it okay?
do I like
if
this
I want to
version?
shift?
Am I,
Yeah.
If I want to explore different options or make changes, like,
Yeah.
because so often I feel like we are tied to certain versions of ourselves for other people, even,
Yeah.
you know, the approval of others. And that's not always healthy.
Yeah. Well, and like I told you guys, when I had my daughter, my why quickly became, I don't want to give up on my dream because I want to be able to tell her to follow hers. So when I was making that deciding moment, it was like, okay, is this showing her giving up? Like, and I was like, no, it's not. It's showing her that I'm choosing myself. It's showing all of our kids, and even my husband, who ended up leaving his career around the same time. Mental health, like a lot to that too. But it's like, no, this is not giving up. This is
resilient. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
teaching them that you can be any age, have any degree, any level of experience, and still decide like, this isn't what I want to do. And
Yeah.
it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can remember the exact moment I was sitting in the store, just kind of looking around. I just closed up. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. And how am I going to tell everybody?
Yeah.
You know, because I had built this incredible community who women I still talk to this day. Like I love the community that I built there, but it also felt like a message for them too, you know, which is something we could talk about too. But like, I kind of, after I closed, so we made the decision to close 2022. I kind of just lost my voice. Like, okay, all I've ever talked about is clothes, like without realizing there was so much more to
Yeah.
it. But for me, I was going through this whole self-identity of like, do people want to hear from me still now that I'm not offering something? Or, you know, it was just this weird thing. So I really isolated myself for a while. And I mean, depression kicked in quick. And I also, because I was not working at that capacity anymore, a lot of things just kind of started bubbling up, right? Like I started realizing like, whoa, what I've gone through is kind of traumatic too. And it's, you know, like
sure.
being a single mom the way I was, and like just certain habits I picked up, or just things that I'm like, you just really start to just analyze yourself in a way that I wasn't before.
Yeah. You have
Yeah.
the space. It's like meditation, right? Like you're
Yeah.
like, I finally have a minute to like,
Yeah.
figure that out. So
Yeah. All right. So you make the decision. You're going to close Nicole J Boutique. What came next?
Phew. So
also a whirlwind.
yeah, totally. Well, like, you know, I knew I wanted to be mom for a while. Like I was mom, but I knew I wanted to just, something that was always really important to me as a business owner was my kids' schedule. Like I really tried my hardest to have my work schedule revolve around their schedule, not vice versa. So it was important for me to be home in the evenings, on the weekends. Like I never wanted to miss, at that time, soccer games, baseball games, and all that. But this really opened up more time for me to make sure I'm the one taking them to school, picking them up from school, like all that stuff is so important to me. And so I just kind of allowed myself to do that for a little while. Like,
I think
just be mom.
Yeah. I feel like there's this stigma still that like that isn't a job.
Or that it's not enough.
It's not important. And
Like
so
that's all you do.
yeah. Yeah. And so I feel like
Yeah.
to go from CEO to like just a mom.
Yeah.
Like how could you give that up?
Yeah. And I think the guilt there is the money aspect, right? Because, you know, having a multi-million-dollar business to going to like halt
And like
it's
legit multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah. To like, okay, whoa, I want to be just mom, but that level of income, you know, it's just, it's a hard thing to adjust.
the grain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the
It's unheard of.
exact opposite of what you should write a book.
I've been writing a book, Tabitha, for probably 10 years.
The anti-CEO
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
Like, literally
Yeah.
I don't know, something else like
I have a
going
book cover,
against.
I've designed, I've got all these things. It's God's time.
What helped you through that feeling though? Did you go to counseling? Did you do like...
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I started therapy for the first time ever.
It's life-changing.
Life-changing. 10 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah.
How do we legislate that and make it mandatory for all humans?
Yeah.
The moment you get pregnant, you get a counselor.
No, literally, the moment you turn like 14 or 16 or something.
So like when you start your period,
it
comes with a counselor.
or with men, like the moment that like your voice starts cracking.
It should be mandatory. Yeah. Well, there's also a stigma around that too, right? Like you feel like you go to a therapist when something's wrong, which is usually when
it's preventative care.
Yeah.
And we don't see it as preventative care.
Yeah, absolutely. I started therapy and it just started revealing things that I just never thought of, you know, and she challenged me in a good way, you know, so, but also she helped me realize that I wasn't just a boutique owner. I wasn't just a mom either.
Yeah.
I still was able to explore passion. So to answer your question, Tabitha, from closing to now, I have done so many different things. I have explored all passions, literally. I had a mobile flower bar for a minute. I
forgot about that one.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Nicole J. Bouquets. That was it.
Nicole J's bouquets.
Yes. It was like a stand I had my husband build
cute.
me. And I did that for a minute. I had the podcast for a little bit. I'm an artist as well. So I've sold paintings, which is something I still do. I know I'm forgetting. Oh, I had a thrift booth at a local antique mall. So I wasn't just sitting still. I have a hard time just sitting
exploring,
still. Just exploring.
How awesome is it that you had that time and that space and support? Because a lot of
the ability to do
spouses
that
would not support
Yeah.
you throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks, you know, like that you had that space, but also that like you allowed yourself to try different things, like,
and be
that's so
okay
cool.
with being like, yeah, you know what, that didn't work out, or that's not for me.
Not for me. Yeah.
And
And that's where all the
check it
Instagram
off
accounts come from.
Check it off your bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
it's brave.
as women, I think we need to allow ourselves to explore in that way, you know, and now I know it's not as realistic depending on the situation, of course.
Yeah.
But
Sure,
we all
not
have,
everybody's able to.
Yeah, but we all have some sort of space to where we can play or like have fun again.
People have
Take a
quit
risk.
creating.
Quit creating,
Like
yeah.
we are just running and racing and doing everything for everyone else that we have stopped doing like creative time, whether it's, you know, building something or you're painting or, you know, like we
Even
have
just
stopped
exploring a
doing
hobby
that.
or a passion for
It's
the
all
sake
about
of exploring
giving everything
it.
to our kids because we don't want to mess them up, or giving everything to our spouse because we, you know, want to,
or giving everything to our career.
Yeah.
our career or our community, and we're just pushing, but we don't stop and say like, let me just paint for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we'll sit at the dining table and like paint, like just
Yeah,
and I'm
for
like,
fun.
I'm like so sucked into this, like I forgot how much I love doing that because we just at some point quit.
Yeah.
And I think having a creative outlet in some sort of capacity, even just like walking and taking pictures of the sunset, like some sort of capacity does wonders for your mental health.
I completely agree. And it's become mandatory for me. Like I realize how much creativity does play a huge part in my own mental health. Like I'm just a creative person. I always have been. But I don't know if it's my fault or not, but like I always think of how can I monetize this hobby? Like my brain just always goes back to business and marketing.
Yeah.
It's just my entrepreneur, you know, spirit. But I also am okay, like you said, Tabitha, I'm okay with putting things down. If I'm like, okay, that was fun, but it's not for me anymore.
Yeah, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, but I've also...
that doesn't make you a failure. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it doesn't mean that like you're the worst or like, why are you still here trying?
Yeah.
Like it just means like, I tried it out and like, you know,
Not for me.
It's not going to work for whatever reason. Maybe I just decided I really don't like it enough. You know, I mean, I've started a bunch of different like hobbies.
Yeah.
I knitted for a season.
Did you?
I did.
I'm so
My sister-in-law is a really proficient knitter. Years ago, like back when I was like pregnant with my son.
Yeah.
She taught me to
You
knit.
do not strike me as a sit and knit kind of person.
I'm not. But she taught me.
Yeah.
Were you
And I
able to
learned.
shut your mind off for a minute while you were knitting?
I knitted several scarves. I knitted a baby hat that my son wore home from the hospital. I know,
that's
it's really
adorable.
precious. I knitted a few things and I learned how to do it, and I bought all the materials and the supplies because I tend to do that. And then I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Actually, I hate this.
Yeah. Not sure I like this.
I'm not a sit and knit.
No.
I'm not. Like,
No.
But
I
now
tried
you know.
I tried it.
Yeah.
And I can legitimately say that I learned to knit because I I have the receipts, meaning I have these items to show that like I did this. I did a cable knit scarf pattern.
Nice. Wow.
So I did it. Yeah. Thank you.
That's impressive. I'm shocked and impressed.
I did it, and I can check that off the list.
Yeah. Yep,
and I feel like that is what life is all about.
Yeah.
New experiences, new things.
Yeah.
That
and your kids
enjoying
are
it.
watching that too. Like that's something I've noticed with my kids, especially like they grew up in the boutique. I mean, Jace, I had a pack and play in the boutique. Like he was with me a lot, so they saw that phase of my life, but then they've seen since I've closed and how I'm still trying new things. They may think I'm a little crazy here and there, and my husband's like, okay, what are we doing this week?
Mine too is like your
farm.
My husband is like someone who he's like done the same thing like his entire adult life. He's getting ready to be 48 in a week, like a week and 2 days.
Happy almost birthday.
Like, thank you. And I don't know why I said thank you. It's not my birthday. Whatever. Thank you on behalf of him. But he's like done the same thing, and he's like he could eat the same thing every day. Like he's very much like Old Faithful that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas me, so he's always like, you're always like changing it up. You like different things, whatever, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's me.
Yeah.
I need that like variety. And even though like I've decided like knitting, for example, wasn't for me, I have such respect for that hobby and that endeavor, because it's pretty complicated. There's a lot to it.
It's challenging.
Like it's challenging. Yeah. Like, so when, I see my sister-in-law knit like sweaters and cardigans and
it's amazing.
things, I'm like, that's amazing. Like, I know how hard that is.
Yeah.
Like, that's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of value.
Yeah. My husband's the same way. He likes security. He's like,
there's something very comforting for people like that. My husband says that for him, there's something very comforting in the consistency and the constancy of the same, where for me, I'm like, that's so boring.
So boring.
It's so dull.
Every couple of years, I'm like, I'm itching to do something. Let's move. Let's sell everything.
Totally change the trajectory of our lives.
But I think it's funny because all of our husbands are the same, where it's like
Old Faithful
routine. They wake
like
up
golden
and
retrievers.
everything's the same.
Yep.
And I'm like, but I think for me, in my brain, women have to watch out for getting murdered when we're around. So my routine is never the same. So I'm like, they'll never catch me.
From routine to
They'll
getting
never
murdered.
catch me.
I don't watch out for getting murdered. I'm
You
sorry.
don't?
What happened to you, Kimberly?
Oh,
is this
man.
another
Is this
podcast
running in the dark?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't run in the dark.
Yeah. Don't you watch crime?
No,
It's always
I
the
don't.
women who
I can't.
wake up
I don't.
and have the same routine and they go to the same spots. They get murdered.
I'm probably going to get...
I mean, that makes sense.
I mean...
So you gotta switch up.
I'm a little bit of a creature of habit, I guess, for some of my routines.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to get murdered.
Please don't.
Increased my odds.
But now that you're aware,
I guess now that
one
I'm
day you're
aware,
gonna hit
I don't,
the other side of the street
If
instead.
it's meant to be, I guess it's meant to be.
Our husbands will know where we're at, maybe.
Maybe. Mine might not, because evidently I'm always, I know.
I know.
And I don't
that's
know if
true.
he knows that I share my location with him on the iPhones. So I don't even know if he'd know to check.
He doesn't know to check
My kids would. My kids would.
Your
They
kids
always
would
know.
know.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I am.
My kids know where I am all the
Especially
time.
if I'm near Starbucks. My daughter's like, hey, you're by Starbucks? Like, you're supposed to be in biology. Get off your phone.
Yeah, what is
But don't you want to drop me off a dragon
refresher
fruit
or whatever?
My kids do this.
But I
Mocha
think that's
latte.
funny because as entrepreneurs, our brains need to be creative and we need to be kind of squirrely at sometimes. That's when we get our best ideas. But our husbands are like that steady provider who are going to just be like, good luck.
Yeah. I'm leaning on you,
support
babe. For me, it's been eye-opening. I need his groundness. You know what I mean?
It is nice. It is comforting. I
And
think
when
if we were both like me, it would maybe not work so well.
1000%. And he brings me back down from floaty sometimes. I could just be going, do. He's like, okay, I hear you, but logically, what makes sense? So
Yeah.
it's a good balance. I think we all need that.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's cute.
So what are you doing now?
So what am I doing now? So I'm in
We
this
tried the flower mobile boutique.
Yeah.
We tried. What did we try?
a lot of different things. I had a thrift booth for a minute.
Thrift booth.
Yep. I did have the online boutique for a little bit
Online
after I closed.
boutique.
But what I've been doing consistently.
We're still momming.
Still momming. Oh yeah.
That's 24/7, 365 forever.
Forever. They're 16, 14, and 11 now. So it's just busy
We're
and
literally in the same season of life, minus the 11-year-old.
Yep.
16, 14. Okay.
it's crazy. Our oldest is driving, and that's been
Mine will get her license next week.
that is a whole other layer of stress. But
Okay.
anyway,
So what are we doing now?
Yeah. So
We're doing big things.
When I had the boutique and shortly after closing too, something I've always done is mentored other business owners. Like I'm really passionate about helping other entrepreneurs. Like I have an eye for the customer journey, where we think like we need to, what you hear mostly about like social media and stuff is like, you have to do this, you have to post at this time, you have to post 3 times a day or 5, like there's so many rules to it. And I kind of strip back all the rules and get to the intention of why are we posting? Why are we sharing? So, I have a consulting business and I focus mostly on marketing and social media. So I help business owners with their website, email, that kind of thing. So that's something I've consistently done for a while now. And I'm passionate about that. I love having conversations like these, but just helping you see things that maybe you're too close to. And, when you're building a business, like you've got a million things on your to-do list, but
I need your help.
I'd love to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But I'm also in this season of I'm just trusting God right now of like, where do you want me to be? Who do you want me to talk to? Like, what are my yeses? What are my nos? So I'm in this season of just really trying to be still, which is hard, but saying yes to podcast interviews when they're presented and just kind of seeing where he takes me. So yeah, that's it.
Love that.
Just a simple little story.
Just a simple little adventure.
Yeah.
That was long story short, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it's just so cool. Like, and then I, as someone who's just been able to like watch this, and I know, through our other friend, like, your story a little bit, and like just seeing how you have come so far with business, but like also like mental health. And, I think one of the things you did really, really well and still is just like community and knowing community and creating community. Like even what you were saying of having panic attacks while all these people are like lined up ready to come into the store. A lot of times people who struggle with panic attacks or anxiety do the exact opposite, where they just don't go out and they don't try anything. And then it gets worse because they just kind of like retreat and lock themselves inside and they don't reach out to friends or community, or they, struggle with even showing up in life and, having those coping mechanisms to be able to like say, all right, I know this is going to be really hard for a minute, but like once I'm out there with my people, then I can kind of breathe and like get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've had many days, Kimberly, where I was in bed and could not get out of bed, and you turn on Netflix, next thing you know, you've watched the whole season. Like I've had days where I just, and still even to this day, I find myself sometimes going backwards. And I was on medication for a little while for anxiety, depression. That's something that I openly share, but I've been off of it since early summer. Because I do feel like I have found ways to get myself out of those moments, but it's hard. And I think life in general is just hard, but we put this pressure on ourselves as women and as moms to be so put together and,
always got it together. Everything's fine.
Yeah. And
we're good. We don't need help.
Yeah.
We're thriving.
Yeah. A couple years ago, my daughter said to me, she's like, Mom, I never see you cry. And I was like, Mom cries a lot, actually. And then I'm like, why
but
is
Mom
it
tries to hide it
Mom
from everybody.
tries to hide it. Yeah. And I'm like, why is it a bad thing that I don't let them see me cry if I'm having a moment? Not that I want them to see me crying every day, but
right.
It's like we want them to be able to express their emotions too. And I think that's a big part of what I've learned and am still learning and will continue to learn forever.
And our children learn really through us modeling behaviors.
Yes.
So if we want them to learn to be able to be vulnerable and open with their emotions, they need to see us do that. We have to model that. So that means being able to show them sadness, being able to show them
just being done,
how to healthily deal with, overwhelm and stress and disappointment.
And kids are honest too. Like I always think about like, oh boy, okay, when they're adults, what are they going to need therapy from? Like, we just do that too. And I'm like, there's so much, but I also have conversations with them. Like just last week, I'm talking to Ellie and we're having a chat and I'm like, what could I be better at? Like, as your mom, is there anything that you feel like I could improve on, And we have an honest conversation about it. Now, it's joking, too. Like, I want more, whatever, like Chipotle.
Jackson
my girl loves Chipotle.
He said,
my girl loves
pizza
Starbucks.
with me.
So, actually, you could just not tell me no when I asked to go to Starbucks. I'm like, okay, well, you could go get a job.
Yeah, exactly. You can pay for your own Starbucks. Starbucks. But, you know, I love having conversations with them because, like I said, they're honest, you know, and with what we have gone through with my daughter especially, and just like, you know, her dad and all the things, he is back in their lives now. He's sober, has been for 2 years, which is a wild journey.
That's great.
Yeah, we didn't see him for many years.
Okay.
So that's a whole other thing that we're kind of navigating. But
Shoot, girl. You do need to write a book.
what I've learned with her and that, and, you know, every kid is different, right? But like they need conversation. They need us to see them as more than just kids. And it's hard, right? Because you get the brutal truth sometimes and you don't want to hear it, but it's helpful too.
I think that's something that this generation, our generation of parents do really well, is they allow their kids to actually have opinions.
Agreed 100%.
Because that
We
did
do
not
really-
happen
no,
when
it did not happen.
My parents said it, and that
it was
that.
the gospel
And-
doctrine written in blood on stone.
And
And
if
you
you
didn't
said
question
anything,
it.
you got in trouble for talking
Yep.
back.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's conversation. Yeah, we're just having a conversation.
We're just having a conversation.
Just
Yes.
speaking.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, you know, and now it's funny because, like, my mom, like, we will sit and we talk about everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is how I talk to my kids.
Yeah.
Like, and they're 12
And they're
10.
allowed to have opinions because they're a part of this family, and they're
and they
allowed
have
to
feelings,
contribute.
and we don't shut it down. And I
Yes.
feel like our generation does really well with actually allowing our kids to be themselves.
Yes. Agreed.
Versus
Agreed.
trying to make them, you know,
Oh my gosh, look at us
silence.
breaking generational cycles of trauma. Doing better for the next generation. Maybe they won't need as much therapy. Maybe
I'm
they'll
hopeful.
only need a little bit. Just a little bit.
Not
Not
years
years
and
and years.
earlier.
Not years and years and antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that you were willing to share for like our listeners, right? Because it's like you're telling this story and it's so vulnerable and empowering, but it's also like has a happy ending. But like you also threw in there that like you had days where you didn't get out of bed and you binged an entire Netflix show because that's all that you were capable of, right?
Yeah.
And that you dealt with depression and anxiety and needed medication and therapy. So it's like, yes, happy ending. Yes, you're here smiling and laughing and you're thriving. And if our listeners can't see you, but like you're glowing and your eyes are bright and you're just like full of life. But like
You went
through
some
some
stuff.
hard
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. Like it ain't been
has not
rainbows
been
and
easy.
butterflies.
No, and it's still not, but I feel more capable and, you know, but yeah, I appreciate that.
So if any of our listeners are like going through similar situations or hard seasons or like feel like they want to make change, you know, what would your advice be for them as someone who is very much an empowered woman, you know, who's not afraid
Yeah.
to live her purpose and passion?
So many things. We were talking about therapy. I do think it's helpful to talk to somebody. I think a lot of times we believe we're the only ones who are feeling that way. And if we're able to have open conversations with a therapist or with somebody, a friend, a family member, I think we'll quickly realize that we're not the only one going through it. And there's something light about that.
It is such a lie to believe that you're the only one.
Yeah. And I also, a big one for me is not owing anybody an explanation. You know, if you're in a season of life where you feel like you are craving a change, you don't have to explain that to anybody.
Yes, facts, preach. Say that again, louder for those in the back.
Yep. I've always said you just don't
owe
have
it.
to, you don't owe them an explanation, especially for prioritizing your happiness, you know,
And the happiness of your family and yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if you're stuck, I think, you know, and that could be anything, right? That could just be today. You feel stuck and you can't get up and get outside, or it could be in a career you're unhappy with, or a business you've built that is no longer the dream, right? Like you are not stuck and you will be okay. You will be okay. It's just a matter of making a decision and not owing anybody an explanation for it.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Love that. Yeah. Nicole, it has been such a pleasure having you on and talking to you. Yeah. I don't know, when can we go to lunch and become better friends?
I would love that.
Thank you for your time and sharing your story. And I hope that our listeners feel empowered.
Where can they find you? If
Yeah,
they want to
you
follow
guys.
along.
Come hang out with me on Instagram. It's just Nicole J. Palmer.
Nicole
You can
J.
message
Palmer.
me. I'll answer. I'm an open book, so I often send voice memos. So.
Not me running to friend requests.
Yes, please do.
Quickly
Come
and
hang out
follow.
with me. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for spending your time with us. If you found this podcast helpful, we would love for you to share it with your friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe on your podcast platform. If you have nutrition or fitness questions you want answered on future episodes, we would love to hear from you. You can submit these questions to our email, thenutritionrevolutionpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at The Nutrition Revolution Podcast.